Wait, they were like, what?
And I was like, boss, please. Hey bosses, welcome back to Boss Please. I am Jillian.
I'm Meghan.
And we're here to bring you a brand spankin' new episode.
Spankin' new.
But before we do that, as we do every week, Meghan, how were you a boss this week?
I was a boss because, I have a callback, and I'm going to be flying to Tampa.
Okay.
But it's so funny. I haven't had to study in a while, obviously, since school days. And I was making note cards last night for this callback because I have to know names and different definitions. And I was like, oh my gosh, note cards galore. I haven't had to do this in so long, but it made me feel like a boss.
You've made a little study guide for yourself.
Yeah. How are you, boss?
Well, I'm going to use my boss moment to talk about another person in my life.
Oh.
My best friend is having a baby. And I...
Not me, guys. Not me.
No. No, my best friend from childhood. And I am just so proud of her. And it's so bizarre because she's the first friend that I have that's really gone through this. So I've been with her, every step along the way, where she's telling me, she told me when she first found out, and then when she found out the sex of the baby, and it's so cute. So I just sent her a little gift. I'm just going to be surprising her with little things because I feel as a boss and a boss mom, you deserve presents, the baby deserves presents. So for the baby, I bought a couple of my favorite children's books to start the baby's collection.
Yes.
And then for her, I don't know if she's going to listen to this. Maybe I'll have already given it to her by this time.
Yeah.
But I really want to get her a prenatal massage, something that she can really enjoy, because I really find that a lot of the time people always ask about how the baby is and not how the mom is.
Yeah.
And I always like to flip the script on the conversation.
You have to.
Because as a mom, your life is changed forever. Your body is changed forever.
Just, doing all the things.
So I'm just so proud of her. She is a boss ass bitch. She has been working full time and going through all of this stuff and has been having the greatest pregnancy ever. And I'm so happy for her and her husband. So yeah, she's a boss. She inspires me.
That is a boss.
Yeah.
I love.
So this week's guest is one of my dear friends from childhood. Her name is Keely Davenport. I did theater with her growing up.
Stop.
That is where I met Keely, and she has sort of taken the theater as a childhood and extended that into her adult life, creating this amazing theater program for our town.
Nice.
So I kind of wanted to know, since we're both performers and we're total hams and center of attention.
Yes.
Do you have a first performance memory?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I was performing all the time, naturally, in my home and doing dances and making people clap for me, even when they weren't paying attention. But no, so I started twirling when I was 3, but my first solo I was given, I can't remember how old I was, but maybe I was 6 or 7. And it was called a show twirl. So this meant that you were alone, but you could twirl to your own choice of music. And I decided to do Cinderella from Cinderella, but when the mice are making her dress, I'm Cinderella. Oh my God. So I did Cinderella, and I wore this tutu Cinderella outfit, and in a show twirl you're able to have props too.
Okay.
So I had this little pink dress, and my mom put some thread coming down from it, and scissors were stuck in it, and measuring tape, so it kind of looked like the mice were working on the dress. And we went to the Disney store, and I had all the different mice, and then I actually I twirled with my baton, but then also as part of my prop I twirled with a little tiny broom.
Okay.
Because I was Cinderella. So yes, I totally remember that just being, and everyone loved that performance. I was known as Cinderella for a long time, and that was my first claim to fame, my first little recital performance.
Oh my gosh,
with
I
the
love
Red
it.
Star Twirlers of East Derry, New Hampshire.
How old were you?
I think I was 6 or 7.
Okay.
How about you?
Well, my first memory that stuck out to me of just performing for people was my teacher had to call me out of the room in 3rd grade, and she was like, "You need to stop." And I was
You got in trouble?
"Stop what?" Yeah, I got in trouble. And she's like, "You're making me laugh. and you need to stop. And she's like, you're going to be the next Lucille Ball. That's what she said to me. And I was like, oh my God. So that like sticks out. But right after.
Wait, what were you doing? Wait,
I don't even know what I was doing. Like, I can't remember.
picture you getting in trouble.
But I remember Mrs. Duff had to pull me out of the room in 3rd grade. And like, she tried to reprimand me, but she couldn't because she was laughing. And I just found that to be like the funniest thing. And I still bring that up to this day to people because I think it's amazing.
So funny.
But the first show that I was in was Annie. And I played the orphan Tess, and it really like changed everything for me. I did it with a community theater group. Obviously, at the time, my hometown of Toms River didn't have community theater, so I had to go to the next town over called Brick. And I was in Annie, and like I got on the stage, and just everything changed. Yeah. And then ever since then, I was doing community theater year round. You know, I'd do it in school, and then I'd go to the next town over and I'd do community theater that way. So it's always been really special to me. And the second show that I ever was in, I was actually Annie.
I was just going to say, I thought you played Annie.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the first time I was in it, I didn't, but the next year I played Annie. It was in 5th grade. So it ended up being like so wonderful and just very fond memories of performing, which is why I wanted to have Keely on. She is the co-founder of Exit 82 Theater Company. If any of you guys are from New Jersey, we have a parkway, and we refer to our towns by exits. So our town of Toms River is Exit 82.
I love that.
And we'll be right back with Keely and learn how she's changing the community on the stage. All right, welcome back, bosses. As promised, we have Keely Davenport. Hi, Keely. How are you?
Hi, ladies. How are you?
We're great.
Good.
So Keely is a Jersey girl who is passionate about giving back. She is the co-founder and boss babe at Exit 82 Theater Company at the Jersey Shore, producing 8 shows a year in their own theater and running a creative and performing arts academy year-round. Keely also works as a fundraiser for Children's Miracle Network hospitals and is currently pursuing her Master's of Nonprofit Management. She's not busy at all. She is a proud wife, a daughter, big sister, and a friend. And yeah, one of my closest friends from back home. Hey, Keel.
Hi, guys. I am so honored to be on Boss Babes right now.
Oh my God. Okay, so for those listeners that, you know, follow us on Instagram and whatever, Keely is one of the people responsible for getting us our awesome Boss Please hats.
I love.
Which we're obsessed with. So thank you so much for that. I'll have to bring you some swag home the next time. We have some notepads.
We have and pens.
So I'll make sure to stock your office.
Yes, I want all of it.
So I want to talk about Exit 82. I want to talk about what it is and why it was created and what has shaped its mission. So talk to me about that.
Sure. So Exit 82 Theater Company started as a little passion project with some friends of mine, Billy Cardone and 2 other friends at the time. While we were in college, we kind of looked at each other and we were like, hey, we want to do theater back home. We don't have any resources for that. Growing up in Toms River in our community, we would have to travel at least 45 minutes to do any theater whatsoever and performance arts. So we would have to travel, and we said, why can't we just do this ourselves? So we were both going to school for the arts. We both went to the same college. He was going for theater performance. I was going for arts administration. And we said, we think we can put this together. So we found a group of friends to kind of be willing to put it on with us, and we put on a show. Our first summer, we worked with the school systems, and we found a volunteer lawyer, and we filed through the state and through the federal government as a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, and we were approved. And we were like, oh my God, okay, wow, this is really happening. So then for a while, we would, do a show every summer, and it was like a fun thing to do with friends back home. And then it really started to gain momentum, I would say, in about our 3rd year. Mm-hmm. And the community really started to kind of turn their heads, and we were getting like thousands of people at these like little 3-weekend, 3-show performances, like on the weekend. We were getting like thousands of people, and a lot of support within the community. And we're like, oh wow, this is really cool. Like, this is something the community needs. This is a huge void that we're filling. And we started to get all of these inquiries from parents and from students saying, hey, I want to get involved. And, my daughter or my son wants to, take lessons. They want to get into performing arts. They want to get into, entertainment business. We want headshots. We want acting lessons. We want one-on-one, lessons. How can we do that? And we were like, okay, well, wow, okay, this is something we could really provide to folks. So we, started doing classes, and we got a space, and it kind of just took off about like 6 or 7 years ago. And we have a year-round creative and performing arts academy now. We have upwards of 150 kids. Actually, I think we are closer to 200 this year. Kids year-round. We do scholarships for kids, for colleges, and for our programming, and it's just really taken off. And last year, we found ourselves in a position where we needed a new performance space. So we looked at, Tom Observer, and we looked at an area of the community that seems like it needed support of the arts. And in our downtown area, we chose a space, and we opened up kind of in a black box, more immersive style theater. It seats about 90. And we started producing shows there. So we just celebrated our year in our own theater, and we have our rehearsal studios right across the street. So we created this little community for ourselves downtown in our hometown, and it's been really wonderful.
Amazing.
That's so cool. I love the name too, Exit 82. Jill was saying earlier in the podcast how that name came about because that's the exit of the town, and I was like, oh my gosh, how adorable! It's so cute.
So if you know Jersey at all. You know that there is a huge parkway, there's a huge highway that runs the length of the state. And so if you're from Jersey, instead of saying what town are you from, you're like, what exit are you?
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah,
how creative.
And the Jersey Shore is pretty iconic, so you know that Exit 82 is seaside, and that's where you eat.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. I love that. Well, you were saying, you guys, it kind of caught you by surprise because you started this and then you were like, oh my gosh, like it's building traction. But you said it took about 3 years for it to really explode. So what skills did you learn, as you were building this, and maybe some of the struggles too? Some things you didn't foresee?
Oh, girl, there are so many. I could write a novel, but yeah, it's a huge learning experience. And I have to say, we were in college when we first started this organization, and being at school was so helpful because I was in the thick of it. In all of my classes, I had all my professors as resources. I was going to this small liberal arts school right outside Manhattan, and I was doing internships at off-Broadway and Broadway theaters and at talent agencies. And so I had all of these resources at my fingertips that I really utilized as much as we could to our advantage. So that was really, really helpful, is just aligning yourself with a mentor of any kind. So that was definitely something that I would recommend. And then we definitely face struggles. I mean, one of the big struggles that we still face today is that in our community, we don't have a theater. We don't have a performance space. We have 13 schools in the Toms River School District. We're a pretty large school district, and only 2 of the schools have theaters. Oh, wow. Only one of the schools is air conditioned, and out of those 2 schools, none are actually properly equipped with fly space and just loading docks and just proper things that theaters should be built with. So that was I think our largest challenge, and still is today with our children's programming, finding a performance space for them that's suitable. So that's an ongoing challenge, and I think just making connections right now. We're making connections with the township and with other people throughout the community to try and change that. But that's definitely been a struggle. But we kind of looked at it and we said, you know what? I mean, screw it, we're going to create our own performance space. So we literally, our theater now was a restaurant. And we looked at the space and we said, what can we do with this? What does a black box theater look like? How can we make this our own? So we literally renovated a restaurant. So our dressing rooms are the former kitchen. So if you open up a section of, it's all covered in clean, of course, now, but you go into our dressing rooms and there's a section where you can open it up and you can see all of the stoves are still intact. I mean, everything is still there, but we just made it work. we really made it work. So that's definitely was a huge struggle.
And, obviously, I don't even think I knew that you were pursuing your master's, so good on you, because that's another thing on your plate. You're Superwoman. Did Exit 82 push you to pursue that?
It absolutely did. And my family has always been super, super supportive of education. And it's just in me that I always want to push myself. And I just want to do what's best for the company, really. So I just want to be as knowledgeable as possible so I can steer the organization in the best way, and really know what I'm talking about, because this has all just been a huge learning experience. So, I wanted to go and get my master's for nonprofit management. And I think that with this degree, I'll be able to help, not only X82, but just a ton of other organizations as well, whether it's consulting or teaching in the future, or it's just something that I'm passionate about.
So this isn't your only job. You work for another very famous nonprofit. How do you juggle both of those and go to school? So
it is virtually impossible. I do not recommend it. My typical day is I wake up at 6 o'clock. I have an 1.5 to 2 hour commute to work. I work all day. I commute home to the Jersey Shore in the summer, which is
hell.
Not fun. It's hell. It's a very long commute. And I typically go straight to the theater, or to a rehearsal, or to a tech rehearsal, or to a load in, or to a load out. I am straight there. I work until 10:30 or so at night, and I get home typically around 11 o'clock, and I go to sleep, and I wake up, and I do it all again. It's funny. I was just, I had my first day off in 8 weeks last Sunday.
Oh my God.
And I threw a surprise party for my best friend.
Gosh.
It wasn't really a day off. And I have a little break from school this summer, but when it picks back up in the fall, it'll all be worth it in the end. And I have to be honest, getting your master's is really, really hard, especially when you're not in a big classroom environment, and you're not that part of your brain. It takes a little while to wake back up. So I definitely cry, I think, every single week when my papers are due. But I just know that in the end, it's all going to be worth it. I'm going to look back like 3 or 4 years from now and be so thankful that I did it, and just feel so proud. And I'll just, at the end of the day, I'm going to be able to do the best for my organization, which is most important to me. So I know it'll all be worth it.
That's awesome. You're so great. I miss you. I miss you, girl.
Miss you.
So not only are you doing things for the performance community in Toms River, but you did an amazing thing for the LGBTQ plus community in Toms River. You guys were actually at the forefront of making a pride celebration happen in what is a very conservative town. So how did that come about?
Sure. So yeah, this is something that we're super proud of, and we're still kind of reeling from it. And I want to encourage anyone that is in a more conservative town to speak up and speak out and find your community and find people that are similar to you, because they're out there. It's just a little scary to speak up. And so we had the opportunity every year to work with so many, like I was saying before, kids. And these kids have honestly, they turn my day right around. They are so inspiring. Just not only watching them perform, but just watch them like in their everyday life and growing up. And it's really incredible to watch them all grow into who they are and be comfortable with who they are. And this generation is so different than us, and it's fascinating. Even though we're only like 10 or 15 years apart, so much has changed since we were their age. And they really have found Exit 82 not only to perform and to hang out with their friends, but as a safe space, for the LGBTQ plus community. And they can be themselves where, in the walls of our studio or in the walls of our theater. And that is so rare and so important, to find a community that you feel like you can be yourself. And so we recognize that. And coming up on the anniversary of Stonewall this year, and we finally had our own theater, and we were downtown. We were like, you know what, we really want to have a pride celebration. Even if it's a small party in our theater, we want to have our community come out, our family, and just celebrate. And we mentioned it to the town. We're a member of the Business Improvement District and the Arts Council, and everything. And they really, really encouraged us. And we were really taken aback with how much support we got on the township level. And again, it's just a testament to, it's just an example to show everyone, even though your town may vote Republican and you are in the most conservative, county of your state, you never know. You never know. And there's so many people who are similar to you that are just hesitant or afraid to speak up. So just go for it. And that's what we did. And we got so much support. It turned into a festival. We didn't have a parade or anything. That's something we want to do in the future. But we had this huge festival. We had thousands of people come out. We were recognized by the township, the county, and the governor. And it was so memorable. We're just still reeling from it, and it was just fantastic. We were the first business on Main Street in our hometown to fly an LGBTQ plus flag. And and when we flew it, we noticed that other businesses followed suit. So it was just such an amazing thing to see in the town that we grew up in, and we were so used to things happening a certain way, and everyone kind of grew up. I mean, Jill, you included. It's like you grow up and you're like, oh my God, I cannot wait to get out of my hometown. And we have so many friends that did that, and we did that, right out of college and everything. But now I'm to the point where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to escape my hometown. I want to make it better. Yeah. Like I want to stay here and I want to make it better. That's where we're at.
I love that you said that. That's a great way to look at it. Yeah. I was like, let me get out of Pelham, New Hampshire. and then I'm like, wow, but you can make it better. Yeah, exactly. Like you can make it better.
So I have to give credit to who originally said that to me. So Jill, do you remember Kyle Eckert from high school?
Yes.
So one of our friends from high school is now a very successful drag queen in New York City. Go follow Izzy Uncut on Instagram.
Yes, Izzy is fabulous.
Oh my God, like unreal. And we had her down as our premiere drag performance on Pride, and it was sold out, standing room only. It was amazing. And and she said that to us when she was there. So I just have to give her a little shout out because that really touched my heart, and that meant so much. So it really has driven me. So
that's wonderful. So you hope to make Exit 82 a full-time job someday. Is that the goal?
Yes, that is the goal. We have actually just hired our first ever executive director after 11 years. My partner in life, Billy Cardone, will be stepping up for the first time as our executive director full time.
That's amazing.
We have just turned a corner on really starting to build a full-time staff and actually building a legitimate, traditional theater space in our downtown, and all of those plans are in the works, and we're making it happen. We just haven't given up. We might be crazy, but
sounds amazing.
We just keep going.
So there have been, obviously the lows that we've talked about, but there have also been some really amazing highs. So what has been the most rewarding part so far about what you do?
I honestly think it's just witnessing the community that we've built. There are so many people who maybe they'll come out and audition for a show, and they'll be on the ensemble, or they'll be a lead, or maybe it's a kid who has come out and wants to stage manage or be on crew for a few weeks here and there. But getting to know them and getting to know their story, and hearing that Exit 82 is a place where they have made some of their best friends, where they have had their best memories, where they feel themselves, where they feel better physically or mentally or emotionally, or they have stuff going on at home and they really feel like Exit 82 is their safe place. That is what touches me the most, because when we first started this, we just wanted to do a summer show with our friends and get up and sing and dance and all the floofy stuff, and it's just grown into a community, like a true community, and that has been the most touching, because I feel a really big responsibility to keep it going. And I feel a big responsibility to our kids that look forward to every show and every year and every summer together, and, getting lessons, and then one of our kids right now was just cast in a big show with a big celebrity, and is going to be debuting
amazing.
In the spring, and just seeing all of that and how it's affected other people's lives, and especially the kids, has been the most rewarding.
That's so awesome.
So what advice would you give to someone who's listening to this podcast right now and could really benefit from something similar in their own community?
Absolutely. I know that it's easier said than done, but try and put yourself out there. Even if it's just volunteering for a few hours, a week at a local theater or art gallery, or even like a coffee house that has open mic nights. Like, go out there and meet people with similar interests as you. Even if it's an online community, like, put yourself out there a little bit and find people with similar passions as you and a similar drive as you. And because once you find people who are similar to you, or different, but just a group of people who you can consider your community and your tribe. Once you find your tribe, you're going to feel like yourself. You're going to feel more confident. You can do anything, as long as you have the help of good friends. So that's what I would recommend. Wow. And especially if you want to do something, big and bold, and do your own thing and make your own business, or make something happen in your hometown, even politically. The political climate right now is so crazy. But like I said, Toms River is one of the biggest Republican communities in New Jersey. And now we have a Pride Festival. So that was recognized, by the state. So you can do anything. You can do anything.
You are just a testament to that. Your whole plan with Exit 82 seems limitless to me, and I'm so proud to call you a friend, and just all of the wonderful things that you've been doing for our community is truly, truly amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, Keely.
You know what? Thank you guys for being such bosses, and for, featuring ladies from across the country. It's been so inspiring, and we need people like you to share these stories. So thank you.
So if people want to get involved with Exit 82, where can they find you guys?
Yes. So www.exit82theater.com, and then find us on all social media at Exit 82 Theater.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to be following along with all of the wonderful season that you have coming up. Thank you so much, and congrats on all the success.
Thank you, ladies.
All right. Listeners, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Boss Please Pod. And don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe on iTunes. Navigate the path to your best self with us, because bossing together is always better.